Have you ever had the feeling that you're looking at the same market as everyone else, but somehow it seems like some people see something you don't? Stick with me until the end, because what you're about to discover might surprise you. Imagine the scene. You're in front of the screen, charts moving, news exploding every second, expert opinions emerging from all sides. Everything seems extremely clear, almost obvious. The average investor looks at this visible map and believes they are on the right track, making decisions based on what's right in front of their eyes. But what if I told you that this is just the first map eyes there, a hidden, silent layer, almost impossible to detect for those who only live on the surface of the financial market? While most people try to guess the next move of stocks, there is a second map, an invisible, reserved map, where the decisions that truly shape the future of those who build real wealth take place. It doesn't appear to those seeking shortcuts. It doesn't reveal itself to those who follow impulses, and it never shows itself to those who only observe the noise of the market. This hidden level of the market functions as a kind of invisible door. This is a powerful metaphor representing access to opportunities that don't appear in apps or news feeds. This door only begins to open when the investor develops something far more valuable than technical knowledge, discipline, consistency, and a long-term vision. And perhaps you're wondering, but why have I never seen that door? The truth is, most people spend their entire lives walking past it without realizing it exists. Not because they are incapable, but because they are distracted by the wrong map. The map of haste, fear, and anxiety for quick results. Have you ever experienced that? That feeling that you're doing everything right, but some piece of the puzzle is missing? Well, that's exactly where the difference begins between those who remain at the first level of the market and those who gradually begin to see the second. This second map has no bright arrows, no flashing indicators, no gurus shouting on the screen. It reveals itself in the silence of consistent decisions, in the months when you invest even when no one is watching, in the emotional maturity that emerges when you understand that wealth isn't built in a hurry. It's at this moment that the invisible door ceases to be just a metaphor and begins to become a real presence on your financial path. And the further you move away from the mindset of the average investor, the more this door takes shape, as if it recognizes in you someone who is ready to see beyond. What comes next is precisely the point where most people give up, but it's also where the market begins to separate those who are just playing around from those who are truly ready to move to the next level. And it's about this next step that I want to take you now, because this is where everything starts to make sense. Stay with me. The door is about to open, and as this invisible door begins to take shape before you, perhaps a thought is already arising within you. I'm not the only one who feels this way. It's interesting how, when we talk about this second map, many people realize they've already had small signs, intuitions, moments of clarity, that inexplicable feeling that there's something beyond the obvious. If this topic resonates with you, leave a comment below about what touched you the most, what you've noticed on your journey as an investor, or even the moment when you felt you were facing an opportunity that few people saw. Your experience can also open the eyes of someone who is still stuck at the first level of the market. And since we're having such an open conversation, I want to sincerely ask you something. If this content is helping you understand the market more deeply, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. You can't imagine how much of a difference that makes. Every like, every comment, every subscription is like a signal sent to the algorithm itself, saying, "This matters. More people need to hear this." And when you do that, you're not just supporting the channel, you're helping that message reach someone who might be lost, repeating patterns, stuck on the wrong map, unaware that there's a door waiting to be discovered. Your participation here is what makes this channel grow and reach more people with this type of content. This is how a community is built. 1. Investor helping another to see what previously seemed invisible. And it is precisely this movement that transforms knowledge into clarity, clarity into discipline, and discipline into real wealth. So, while this door continues to slowly reveal itself, take a deep breath and stay with me. Because the next step on this journey will show you why so few manage to enter, and why those who do never see the market the same way again. Gradually, as this image of the invisible door becomes clearer, something curious happens. Many people imagine it symbolizes a physical place, almost like a locked room where only a lucky few manage to enter. But the hidden truth is much more interesting. This door has no handle, no hinges, no key. It is built from within, from silent signals that the market recognizes even before you realize you are emitting them. It's as if a second layer of financial reality is always there, hidden behind the scenes, waiting for someone to demonstrate enough maturity to see it. And when we talk about the so-called shark door, we are not talking about elite, privilege, or secret invitations. We are talking about mindset, transformation, and decisions that you make repeatedly until the market itself understands that you are no longer just a curious observer, but someone willing to stay. This gateway acts as a natural filter. While the average investor drowns in opinions, predictions, and anxiety, those who begin to build consistency send completely different signals. These are signals that they are not seeking adrenaline, but wealth. They don't want shortcuts. They want solidity. They don't chase quick promises. They seek long-term impact. And it is precisely this attitude that opens certain paths. Private deals, restricted conversations, opportunities that never appear publicly. None of this arises for those still trapped in the mindset of immediacy. It's as if the market is constantly testing everyone, observing who remains firm when everything seems to crumble, and who gives up at the first stumble. There's a significant break in expectations here. Nobody calls you into this room. It appears when you demonstrate that you are no longer guided by emotion, but by a deeper understanding of the financial journey. Many believe that all this is about money, as if there were an invisible line written with numbers. But the shark door doesn't respond to values, it responds to behavior. The investor who acts with discipline, who maintains their strategy even during downturns, who doesn't let themselves be seduced by empty promises, this investor begins to approach the threshold where the door finally reveals itself. And when the door appears, it completely changes how you interpret the market, because you realize you were stuck on the wrong map, operating at a shallow level, while a whole structure of decisions was happening in another dimension. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because understanding this metaphor is just the beginning. There's a point where discipline ceases to be merely a habit and becomes a clear sign of readiness. Something the market recognizes even before you recognize it in yourself. And it's precisely at this turning point that the door begins to open, not as a reward, but as a natural consequence of your evolution as an investor. Comment below. I'm on this journey too. It's curious to see how many people believe that the shark door only opens when a person reaches a certain financial value, as if there were a magic number capable of unlocking access to the hidden level of the market. But the more you observe the hidden truth behind the decisions that truly transform an investment journey, the clearer it becomes that money isn't the primary criterion. Behavior is. There's an invisible, almost silent factor that separates those who simply desire opportunities from the few who become recognized for them. And this factor doesn't appear in bank statements, spreadsheets, or reports. It appears in the pattern of your choices, in the emotional impact you create within yourself when you decide to stand firm, even when the market tries to push you in the opposite direction. Consistent discipline is like a hidden lighthouse that gradually lights up. Imagine the scene. An average investor sitting in front of a screen, receiving the same news everyone else does. But while most react impulsively, he breathes, analyzes, remembers his strategy, and continues investing as always. It is at this moment that a soft, symbolic light begins to shine on him. Not a literal light, but an internal signal that the market recognizes. This light represents maturity, a strengthened mindset, the ability to see beyond the chaos of daily life. And the more this discipline is repeated, the stronger this glow becomes, until something surprising begins to happen. The invisible door, previously imperceptible, begins to take shape. When someone stops chasing quick gains, a silent transformation happens behind the scenes of their mind. External noise loses its power, and what was once anxiety becomes clarity. There's an almost cinematic scene where the investor, tired of chasing impossible promises, simply decides to focus on the long term. At that moment, the door that previously seemed non-existent emerges as a light, almost ethereal outline, as if it were just waiting for this change in mindset. And it's no coincidence. The market always observes, not how much you possess, but how long you can endure to remain. Those who master their emotions send a powerful signal, a kind of invisible signature that says, "I am prepared." This sign isn't created in a day. It's born from repetition. It's born from the courage to overcome setbacks without despair, to overcome highs without arrogance, to remain steadfast when everything around seems to doubt you. It's this consistency that begins to awaken previously unseen opportunities, as if restricted doors recognize the presence of someone who finally understands the game being played. The person doesn't change overnight, but their journey does. And when the journey changes, the surrounding environment responds. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because there's a specific moment when this signal becomes strong enough to completely alter how the market behaves in your eyes. And that's where the story takes on another layer. Comment below. That makes sense to me. When that door finally begins to reveal itself, something changes in an almost imperceptible, yet profoundly transformative way. It's like walking down a silent corridor. After years of navigating the same noisy space where everyone repeats the same predictions, the same doubts, the same fears. And then, for the first time, you see the hidden room. It's not extravagant or full of golden symbols. It's minimalist, clean, precise. A large table occupies the center, illuminated by a soft light that creates a sense of absolute focus. On the walls, simple yet clear graphs show trends from decades past. None of that frantic noise that populates popular apps. It's an environment that breathes strategy, vision, and decisions grounded in maturity, not impulse. The conversations within this room are completely different. There, no one is trying to predict what will happen tomorrow, or celebrating daily micro-victories. The topic is wealth, succession, real accumulation. They talk about private, businesses that never appear on mainstream platforms, discussing off-market opportunities that depend less on money and more on credibility built along the way. Each sentence seems imbued with a deep understanding of the hidden truth behind the market. The game isn't about speed. It's about direction. It's not about quick gains. It's about lasting impact. There, a short-term mindset simply doesn't exist. It's as if you realize, for the first time, that there's a market within the market, operating on a completely different level, almost invisible to those who have never crossed that threshold. The participants aren't concerned with momentary fluctuations. They see decades ahead. They talk about protecting, multiplying, and directing capital as part of an ongoing endeavor, not a race. And when you begin to absorb this kind of vision, something changes within you. It's as if the pieces of your own financial journey finally fall into place, revealing that the visible map, full of noise, drama, and anxiety, was merely the surface of a much more refined game. The emotional impact of this is enormous. Anyone who enters this room immediately realizes they can no longer go back to their old way of investing because their mindset expands. It's like watching the backstage of a show after years of only seeing the stage. The revelations that emerge there show that the path to wealth has nothing to do with guesswork and everything to do with consistency, analysis, patience, and strategy. There's no glamour, but there is depth. There's no frenzy, but there is clarity. And that clarity changes everything. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because understanding what happens inside that room is only the beginning. The real turning point lies in what this realization provokes in you, and how it completely redefines the way you approach your decisions from now on. Comment below. That makes sense to me. When someone finally understands what lies within that hidden room, the inevitable question arises: how do I get there? How do I make that invisible door appear to me? And it is precisely here that many people get lost, because they believe there is a secret course, a miraculous technique, some hidden shortcut that grants immediate access. But the hidden truth is quite different. The door doesn't respond to ostentation, it doesn't open for those trying to impress, and it definitely doesn't appear by luck. It responds to 3 silent pillars. Almost too simple to be noticed, but powerful enough to transform the entire journey of an average investor. Monthly consistency, long-term vision, and emotional maturity in the face of setbacks. These 3 elements, when aligned, create a kind of internal signature, a pattern of behavior that the market recognizes as a sign of readiness. Monthly consistency is like a financial heartbeat. Each contribution, regardless of the amount, sends a clear message to the market. You are committed. It doesn't matter if the scenario is favorable or challenging. Consistency has a profound impact on mindset, building discipline while silently shaping your identity as an investor. A long-term vision is what definitively separates you from immediate distractions. It's when you stop chasing quick results and begin to see your wealth building as a work that takes years, perhaps decades, to reveal its true potential. This internal shift is one of the most important revelations of this journey. And then comes emotional maturity, perhaps the most challenging pillar. It appears in moments when everything seems to crumble, when the news is bad, when your wallet falls, and doubt tries to whisper that you should give up. But instead, you persevere. This perseverance sends another powerful signal. You are not driven by fear, much less seduced by euphoria. This emotional stability is perceived by those on the other side of the door because it shows that your mindset is not fragile, but rather prepared for real decisions. When these three pillars begin to work together, something changes in the surrounding environment. Mentors who previously seemed unreachable begin to notice your attitude, not because of what you say, but because of what you repeat, what you uphold, what you demonstrate in practice. Opportunities begin to arise as small coincidences. Someone calls you for a conversation. A proposal appears unexpectedly. Relevant information reaches you as if it were destined. But none of this is by chance. It's the door seeing you. It's the market recognizing that you're not just interested, you're prepared. And that's why, when this phenomenon occurs, the final phrase makes more sense than ever. You don't find the door starts to see you. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because there is a specific internal change that determines when this recognition truly happens, and it is usually invisible even to those experiencing the process. Comment below, I'm on this journey too. And if you've made it this far, it's because something along this path truly resonated with your own journey. This kind of deeper reflection on mindset, decisions, and transformation within the market isn't for everyone. And that's precisely why I want to invite you, in a very natural way, to subscribe to the channel. Here we continue to move forward together, always exploring these layers that nobody talks about, but that make all the difference for those who want to build real wealth. If you read this content to the end, and it made sense, leave a comment saying so. This message was for me. It's the simplest way for me to know who is truly operating at this more conscious and silent level in the market. And of course, leave a like too. Not out of obligation, but because it strengthens the connection we created throughout this video and helps this type of conversation continue to exist. Now, if you want to continue along these same lines and delve even deeper into these revelations about behavior, wealth, and long-term vision, there's a video here that complements this topic perfectly. Click and continue reading there.